Hi, how you doing tonight? Welcome to Christian-budo Talk, where I'd like to pop in the mind again about Daniel's prophecy and where I've learned it here on the Taruscan Reservation and down here, way deep in the dirty south of Pompano Beach. Well, I finally picked it up in Los Angeles of 2010, but I'm not ready to give the full aspect. I am close to writing to about 8 or 9, and it's uh it's different, the times of faith going through it. It's pretty good, and there's a lot of passages that I've worked in to try to bloom out the decisions of why you gotta wait and learn your lessons sometimes. So I'm trying to take the facts of life and many topics of the Bible. There's the presidential reigns, and that's different in the Bible. They have Caleb and Dan. They have the difference of Elijah, uh, and the different presidential reigns of Moses and in Ramses. And in my life, it's different. The Salt Olin, which is more catering to the island Syracuses, or the Daytona Shore Islands, and Dan of Shaolin. Dan of Shaolin is a different battle. They're more like Dan out of the Bible, and can really experience some good training and good decisions. Another fact of life is Egyptian, the Kuman Sea Feet Exus time. That's the Korah Ekaptian, and the Ekaptian is an Egyptian that understands a lot of the calculator, how the lead works, the melting and perstanal volumes of plastic and copper, and chemicals that aren't supposed to be mixed. So that was a different way that it can't be like that in the Bible, and how long the time that you have to get ready to see the different features of an Egyptian god. Also in Puerto Rican, of the facts of my life is the co Savero to reading. These readings, they have a lot of judgment. If you just pick anything up and you start to read it, I'm sure your judgment can change because you may not like it or not. And there's a lot of different reading from my presidential reign in Viva Java, Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Ricans, places that I inhabited with and from. And the pest side has different reading. The pest and bugs are different, and they're different names, how to pronounce it. So here in the native of American life, the effects of my life have the native of the Bob Thomason or Dave's Levis, and their Karma Debrises. Debrises is a different type of ecclesiastic of the Seneca, which they have their own tribal benefits, they have their own uh, welding of steel, they have their own glass and lead manufacturers from um, these principles of their own life. And so, in their different reigns, my fact of life goes to the mugshot Chinese, the Yveto China haircut of Prussian samurai, and that level is a lot different too. That some are made for steel, some are made for plastic. There's different ways that people amount to these items and what their bodies do. But as I'm trying to look for many topics of the Bible, I don't just need to focus on my family because sometimes it crosses the ties. I don't have it yet. I'm too young. I only understand so much. So I have to grow with this non-iniquity, that I understand my family. I love them. We're not doing sin. And it's time to focus that it's mine. It's all my time. Just as it could be all your time with a counselor or your judgment. And mine's prayer. And I want to be open to prayer. Vast amounts of prayer are different, interesting. I like it on the wall. When somebody puts it everywhere, it's really interesting. And another theme is war, but it's not the same kind of war. It's a provision for safety. And in this, I embed this desire, safety, a provision for safety, because I've always wanted to learn Daniel's prophecy. I was pushed to learn Daniel's prophecy and go for it in the Holy Bible. So I try to look at that, there is safety. There was so much they could do by Daniel's prophecy and teaching me the Word of God, that I put other things aside. And in my unity with the main topics of the Bible and the facts of life, I'm also ninja and geisha, and that practices virtue and promises. The promise is music, and again, in my ninja, I still love music. There's no way that it's a different